Daredevil's the name. Distraction's my game. And if I don't make it, it's been a real slice of heaven, gang. Hang loose, heroes.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books, I love talking about them, and I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site with plot synopsis and character bios for these issues. So I have the original issues, but the trade came out this week, and that's what I'm going to use to show you guys. We're going to be looking at Daredevil, A Cold Day in Hell 1 through 3 by Charlie Soule and Steve McNiven. Now, this is Steve McNiven's new art or new style. It's very Frank Miller-ish in a way, which is sort of appropriate that he's in Daredevil, but he had gone through this. And if you look at how he was drawing during Civil War, and then you look at this, you would almost think this is a different artist. So, all right, we start here with Daredevil talking, or not, well, not really talking yet, but sitting here in the snow, but he's going to be talking in just a moment here. And so it lets us know he's in Staten Island in Harborview Cemetery, and you can see New York City or Manhattan in the distance. Yes, I know Staten Island is technically New York City. So Manhattan in the distance here. And he's talking to someone here. You can't see who it is, but what he says is just kind of some stuff that's happening. This is a apocalyptic future of some type here. And sorry about this, I lost my mouse. There we go. So Daredevil also, his powers are very they're not working very well. And so he's talking to someone. So who's he talking to as he walks away? Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, or the former Kingpin, because he is dead. And so he's leaving here, helping the poor people. And you'll see here that this is all God's plan. God's plan. That's going to show up a lot. I love this. Support your heroes overseas. Buy war crypto bonds. And so a lot of homeless and decadence. It's really just like now, only just in the future. And so they're going into this thing here, and you can see that Big Brother is watching, and he shows his ID, but this guy's not even looking at the paper, and is gonna take a ferry. And so he's just smelling things, and he doesn't like it. So he is, some people are too sick, too medicated, and so they're moving. Not a long ride. But he goes outside and he says, even though the cold air, breathing in like knives, but it's better than being down there. And so this guy's going to come join him and basically kind of says the same thing and talks to him. He doesn't really answer. And the guy's like, don't you have anything to say? And because he wouldn't answer him. And first of all, I love the 16 panel grid. Very Dark Knight returns here. Anyway, so Daredevil finally says, Daredevil shows him that he's blind. The guy apologizes. Anyway, and the guy was talking again, very Frank Miller-ish in a way here. Daredevil thinks that everything that's happening is part of God's plans. And so this here is either the Brooklyn Bridge or the Manhattan Bridge or something. But as they're driving through, you can see that it has shattered. And so he's back in Manhattan here. And this guy tells him he's about to give him money, sees all this cash, and then pushes him because, hey, that's the, I'm going to say this, and I know superhero comics are, they're trying to show that these heroes are better than the average person by doing very heroic things and whatever, but when, this this happens all the time. This happens in the past. And when you are perceived as weak, someone's going to take advantage of you. It is a sad bit of life, but that is the way life is. I just can't get over how Frank Miller-ish this is. But again, Steve McNiven was heading toward this style, which is so different than what he was doing in Civil War. So for those of you familiar with Steve McNiven's work in Civil War, this is just wow. All right. So as Matt Murdock is falling, he uses his hand to kind of brace himself, and he falls on his back. And so they're both coming down for him. This other guy here is like, we're all hungry, and so eventually he gives them the money so they can go get some food. He's like, it's not their fault. It's just the way life is. But people still make decisions. It doesn't, a bad hand isn't necessary for, you can still be a good person. You choose. But unfortunately, in a dog eat world kind of life, as I mentioned before, when you're weak, you're going to get taken advantage of. So he gives them the money. They take it. He's like, hey, I need the cane. And so the guy throws that at him. He, like I mentioned before, he really doesn't have his powers. At least they're not working properly. So that's why he fell on his back, and then that's why he can't catch the cane here. So eventually, you can see he's looking for it and finds it, and then he goes. So they're at a soup kitchen. He's helping out, and they're talking about some of the stuff that is going on. So as I mentioned, there's a war happening, and I forgot Steve McNiven had also drawn Old Man Logan with Frank Miller, or not Frank Miller, Mark Miller. Anyway, so Matt Murdock's helping, and so you see these kids running, or these people running from the subway, and oh god, they've got they're about to say bomb. He watches, or he listens, and then boom. Now, this scene is important because he's gonna regain his powers somehow. This is gonna make him regain his powers, and so he coughs here, and all of a sudden he's smelling things, and all of a sudden, like I said, his powers kick back. You remember Stick saying, when there's too much stuff, think of one thing, so here's Stick. Choose one thing, just one thing, and so he does. And he nice vertical panel here, and he helps this woman, and he helps everybody here, and he says help's coming. So here comes, but it's not really the help, because this is a bad future, because every time we picture the future, we always think of the worst, because really that's kind of how humans are. And so he's helping people. He's remembering the stuff, how it happened to him. Anyway, he is gonna go to the source where all this happened. He just says everything is back. And so, oh my god, this guy's got this thing here. And he's going through, these people here are like, you'll see who they are in a moment here. And he hears this heartbeat, and it's Captain America who is holding this together. And so you see this lady down here, and so he's like, he thought they were inactive, and he says that my powers are back. It was probably the DBs that were mentioned before. It's like this terrorist organization, and he could like, hold on, emergency's coming. He's not going anywhere. He says it wasn't the DBs. He says, take the girl, get her out. She's important. She's the reason this happened. She's what he wanted. I saw it. And so he takes her, and he says, go, Matt, right now. Can't hold this, but as you go, listen. There was a shipment, military, moving chemicals from one base to another, old stuff, part of a plan to get the DB's new warrior project. You wouldn't believe how high it goes, how deep, how far back, as you can see Matt navigating through this as the ground's falling. And so he tells this guy, help her, and he's like, he's still alive. He's going to go get him. And you can see he's trying, but he flatlines, and Captain America is dead. And so these people here find his shield, and he's like, makes Matt Murdock angry. These are the guys that blew up that place. Matt hits him here, and of course he's like, kill them. And so he's gonna take the gun here and try to blow Matt out, but he of course moves out of the way, and they're gonna go. And so they wanted to keep the shield, but the other guy says, if you keep that shield, he's gonna kill you, and you're gonna see here. And so Matt follows, but he slips, and so he hangs on, and he tries to zero in on where they are, but he can't. But he says, I've got your scent. All right, so they go to where they're gonna go, and you're gonna see who the bad guy is, and it turns out that it is Bullseye. And so they give him the shield here, and he's like, oh my god, I haven't seen this in years. And his hands are constantly twitching, so he jabs this thing through it to calm him down. And he's like happy to have this shield here. And they tell him that they found someone that looked like a priest. And of course, he's like, aha. So he knows who it is. And this is such a great image here. And so Matt opens this crate, which of course carries his old costume. And Bullseye is talking to someone here. Of course, he goes, remember this? Of course you do. You worship the guy. He was everything you weren't, and you ain't. I bet it burns you up that I've got it. You want to hold it? And so we're going to reveal that he is talking to the Punisher. And, oh my God, this is something. He's missing his legs, missing his arms, all Frankenstein being kept alive. Looks like they've been shooting at him. So, yeah. And so he lets him know Captain America was killed in action. But he says, they tell me there's another guy out there. Of course, he knows it's Daredevil. And Frank Castle is still super, he's still the Punisher. And so he's like, you miss the old days, Castle? Of course you do. And so the suit is gone, and look at it, it's been stitched up. And here we go. Whatever has happened, whatever will happen, it's all part of God's plan. And so we finally get this really great image here. Very Frank Miller-ish of it. So, all right. And here we go to issue number 2. What do you guys think of McNiven's new style? I think it's quick. I think it's I don't think it's bad. I don't think it is bad at all. So, all right. And so Matt is listening to the bell, trying to get his kind of remembering a bit in the past. There's a silhouette of the Punisher here. He's got his hand here listening. He's actually trying to see if he can catch those guys. Very good art. Very Frank Miller-ish art. If you remember the Electra graphic novel that Frank Miller did, it is uncanny how similar this is. So, sorry, I went forward too much here. So he's remembering a bit of a backstory here from the previous issue, and so he's gonna go try to find these guys here. It goes, I got their scent. So, all right, Bullseye has that. Bullseye has this device. This guy offers to help. Bullseye hits him in the ear. He's like, "Why'd you do that?" He goes, "I was aiming for your eye. Now leave me alone. I gotta find someone." And so is Daredevil. So suddenly they're listening, and he's saying, the people are frightened, the society. And so this is the girl that he rescued. Here's the backpack. You'll see the backpack in a bit. It's important. And so Bullseye's trying to find this girl here, and her power's gonna come up here. And when the power comes up, it sets up a special radioactivity, which Bullseye's going to get in his sensors here on that machine that he was using. And this bright is so like a flashbang that kind of temporarily blinds them. And so Daredevil, of course, feels that. And so he's going to go over there. But Bullseye sends his cronies over there. And so Daredevil, of course, is going to use that as a way to find them. But this person here sees them. Now, you can guess who it is, but I won't spoil it for a couple pages here. But, of course, she's surprised. And so Daredevil's trying to help this woman who's blind. And she's like, just get your sight back. And sees the backpack and opens it up. And then is using his senses to determine where the girl is. She says she ran away, went this way, and then she was taken. And of course, there's that ambulance, and they keep the kid sedated here. Now you're gonna see what all this. So he's explaining how he found her using that gadget. So now we got Foggy Nelson. He's on the phone and sees Daredevil out there. So he hangs up and he's gonna go see him in the roof. This is just weird seeing Steve McNiven's art like this. And so Foggy knows that Matt is Daredevil. He's happy to see him. And he's like, hey, there was this bomb, and I'm investigating it. And Matt's powers go in and out. And he gives him the backpack and says, hey, can you find out what's going on? So Matt leaves. The guy, Foggy, takes out this book, and it says Property of Steve Rogers, who, of course, is Captain America. So he's going to look for these people. And so he is tasting and smelling and doing all these things. And so he goes way up, and he's going to try to get the scent from all the way over there. And so he finally gets it. So, all right. And so there's these group of people that are throwing a party. Daredevil hits them. And he's like, where's the girl? Oh, that was them. I'm sorry. And he's like, hey, it's Daredevil. Let's take him. So, all right. So, they're going to try to take Daredevil, and he is going to start fighting with them. And very cool. Like I said, very, is it Electra Lives Again? I think that's the graphic novel that I'm referring. I haven't covered that yet. I'm still working through Frank Miller's Daredevil run. And suddenly, you see the ninja stars here. and hits this guy, so you can already sort of tell that it is Elektra. And she is going to deal with these people. I apologize for all the I've been yawning because it's kind of late as I'm making these videos, and I took my sleeping pill, but I'm trying to finish this video here, so I apologize. And so she's like, he of course now knows that it's Elektra, and just takes off this guy's head. She's like, hey, I need him alive, and she's gonna kill him, and of course, Daredevil takes her hand. He's like, no, and of course she's like, hey, he's like, I need him, and he's like, this worm, take him, thank you, and so the guy's like all grateful, and then she hits Daredevil, and she goes, now run, and so he gets away here. He's like, I needed him, and she's like, you shouldn't have touched me without permission. I'll ask again, what are you doing? And he notices that she looks the same as that she hasn't aged in years. And so he explains what happened with the bomb and says, I could use your help. And she says, I'm not here for that. That's not why I came, why I'm looking for you. Then he goes, then I don't have time for this. Be well, Elektra. And then she goes, I can give you time, as much time as you want, as much time as I have forever with me. And so he thinks about the two of them. And of course, he realizes, be a life of murder and all that kind of stuff. So he's like, he goes back and says, you know what's happening? What's going on? Who's him? And so she says, they're called the Triple Ring. And so that, of course, is the name of the organization that Bullseye has here. And he tells Bullseye about Elektra, which, of course, makes Bullseye very happy. And now they have the girl. So you're going to see toward the end what all this is going on. This is paced very well, where Charlie Soule is telling a very simple story, but allowing Steve McNiven, who co-plots this, the two of them plot this together. But McNiven, I think, really wanted to just tell a Dark Knight Returns type story with Daredevil. And so Charlie Soules is sort of scripting around what sort of he wants. So we're going to see here that they're walking somewhere and Foggy calls. So he's going to explain here. So I'll read this part. He says, Matt, I think I have what you're looking for. The New Warriors Project was a government-funded program, an attempt to reactivate the powered community to help with the war effort. And Matt says, the war is over. He says, aha. They were going back to the old ways, old protocols, old things that helped create superhumans. That included experiments with super soldier serum and gamma and the radioactive isotope, well, that made you, Matt. And so we're going to get to the next page and see a shipment of that stuff was stolen. No one knows who took it, but the bomb in Hell's Kitchen, it was riddled with it, about a barrel's worth. And the rest of it, it's still out there. And so Bullseye says, here we are, boys. Beautiful, ain't it? Take a good long gander. You know what you're looking at? And he says, the future. So... and thus we go to the final. It's only 3 issues. It's big issues, but 3 issues. So here we go. And we've got the last part, number 3. Alrighty. And so here we go. This is mostly going to be a battle issue. So this issue is going to go even quicker. But I think this series is just beautiful to look at. So you can see Bullseye sort of uses acupuncture on himself to help control it. He takes a drink of that formula here. And so he's going to leave the girl. He says she's safer when you are. And then he, for some reason, and I know this is important for what the rest of the story, but it's so comic booky, he takes out this armor and leaves it there. And so... and for some reason, he decides to take Frank out. And he's just going to leave him. And he's like, I wish I had time to play castle, too much on my plate, busy, busy, and he walks away and leaves them there. And um so Frank crawls to the armor, and of course, he couldn't just leave him there. So he wants the other guys to deal with the Punisher. Why didn't he leave him on the wall? It's just that's the silliness sometimes of comic books, that things are done for, that this is gonna come in there. So of course he gets in the armor, and the guys are gonna come to kill him, and here comes like Iron Punisher here and dispatches all these guys, of course. And so, oh my god, love this one. Crushes the guy's head. And so he gets her out and she's gonna help him. And so, meanwhile, here comes Daredevil, and we're gonna have an explanation from Bullseye why he's doing all this. Essentially, he just misses that era, thinks that this future is boring without superheroes and or superpowered people, and wants to bring them back. Of course, now Daredevil shows up. This guy that says, "Hey, I owe him," and Bullseye hits him because, of course, he does. And it's gonna be Daredevil against Bullseye for the final time here. So we're gonna have ourselves a fight, which Elektra doesn't show up to for some unknown reason, but that's okay because we have Iron Punisher who shows up here and is gonna try to kill Bullseye. But of course, it's Bullseye who Iron Punisher gets out here, and Bullseye basically look at that, bites his nose off. Just Daredevil, of course, stops him because of course you do, because as I mentioned, our heroes have to be pure, and no matter what. And so Daredevil doesn't kill no matter what. And so he's remembering of when the Punisher killed Wilson Fisk. And so he doesn't want him, of course, to kill Bullseye. And he, of course, ends up killing the Punisher for not this is the frustrating part of superheroics and having to. I understand that we want our heroes to be heroic, and they don't kill no matter what. That's one of the things we do with Spider-Man. That's one of the things we do with Batman. The Batman doesn't kill the Joker despite the fact, but after a while, you're like, dude. And so he kills the Punisher so that he doesn't kill Bullseye, to show how damn heroic he is. Nope, not my thing, but that's all right. This is the story. It's a and so of course she's pissed that she killed Frank, and so he's gonna blow up everything, because of course we are. So now he's gonna lunge. Oh Jesus! So instead of letting the Punisher kill him, so he's like, nope, and so falls on the back of this car, and he shoots his broken tooth, hits that camera, and that, of course, Bullseye, and boom. So there it is. And so essentially this is the issue. This is what this series was really about. It's just a cool way to tell a Dark Knight Returns story in Frank Miller style, done by beautiful Steve McNiven art. In a very homage to Frank Miller, because you cannot help but not see Frank Miller in this. The big lips, the whole everything here screams Frank Miller. And so, all right, and so he takes out that part of him. She's like, you're the future, essentially, and she begins to glow, and she's hopefully going to help the world and usher in a new era. And I like how it ends. It's all part of God's plan. So here we go. I love that. I can see it. And the end. And so we're gonna look at some of the because this is the trade. We're gonna look at some of the alternate covers that were released here. Ben Harvey or whatever. Um, don't know any of these people. That looks like John Romita Jr. And it is by Al Williamson. Oh my gosh. When was this done? Because Al Williamson has been, he passed away a few years ago. So, all right. This is a nice one, David. Oh, no, Lionel Yu. I thought it was David Finch. Frank Miller, of course. That's the Frank Miller sketch cover. Wow. This has to be, yep, Eastside Ribic. And Frank Miller again. Let's see. Oh, Gabriel Delotto. That does not. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that's cool. Daniel Warren Johnson. That's kind of cool. Giuseppe I know who he is. I think he did Spider-Man and Batman, but and McNiven. And so, yep, there you go. Those are so that's it. So Daredevil, Hell and Back. Oh, what the hell was this called? Cold Day in Hell. There we go. 1 through 3 by Charlie Soule and Steve McNiven. So not too bad. I think it was decent, nice art, and very, it was I believe it was an homage to Dark Knight Returns. I really think that this is what this was supposed to be. So just featuring Daredevil. So it's a good homage. And if you read it as an homage, then I think you'll enjoy this story. So like and subscribe, and I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.